Well, g'day, it's Jono Brake here from The Forge Leader with another Monday Myth Check Disc Edition. Today we're talking about the dominant D being natural leaders and unpacking that and checking that as a myth. The reality is a lot of dominance, particularly dominant influencer, that kind of combination, they can end up being in leadership. We tend to find a disproportionate number of them in leadership. One of the challenges can be we just assume they're the natural leaders. Let's talk about a few things that might happen if we just say, okay, the dominant are just the leadership people. Because I want to unpack this because I do think this is a myth. I don't think everyone believes it, but I do think it's a myth. So I'm going to put that out right now. But let's talk about it for a minute. If I just think the dominant leaders are the ones who are the best leaders or the only leaders, then I'm just going to have a team of leaders that are all dominant. The dominant loves to win. The dominant loves to fight for position. The dominant loves to assert themselves. If they're not in a good space, they can be quite arrogant. But the bottom line is we've got to think about this in terms of leadership. The other piece of this can be is that we don't give the other kind of styles a chance, right? And so I actually think that if you are able to help a stabilizer become assertive means somebody who backs themselves but does it with humility, which they have that in spades. But if you have someone who is assertive, who's a stabilizer, then I think they actually make way better leaders because they've already got really great empathy. They already understand how to listen, but they can then assert themselves when they need to get things done. All the styles can lead and should lead. They lead very differently, and that's okay. But you've got to understand it can come from that. If we just have the dominant leaders, then we're not giving those people a chance. Okay? So dominant leaders being the best leaders, the challenge is we end up with a very competitive, fight-based culture if all we have is dominant people leading. I'd like to propose that the conscientious, the stabilizers, and the influencers also make great leaders, and their combinations. It's not just about the dominant being the best or the only leadership style in the DISC spectrum. So that's where we want to leave that today. What I want you to do is to think about this. Now, if you are dominant and all of a sudden then your fight is going, well, we are great leaders. Yeah, you are. Okay. So you have the capacity to be amazing leaders because you already have that natural kind of dominance to you. You have that natural kind of assertiveness. But sometimes it tips into arrogance when it becomes my way or the highway. We've got to be careful of this. So your action, if you're a dominant today, is to think through that. If you're not a dominant, I want you to think about how can you bring assertive qualities to your leadership style that couple beautifully with the things you already do really well, like listening, like empathy, all those sorts of things. I'm standing with you today out in front of Australian Parliament House. So I thought this is a really cool opportunity just to be able to see what's going on here. It's early spring here in Australia. It's beautiful here in Canberra today. And that's the Parliament House behind me. Just thought that'd be just a fun little feature. I'm Jono Brake. Monday Myth Check. The dominant aren't always the best leaders. Enjoy the journey. Well, g'day, it's Jono Brake here today, and I want to quickly talk to you about self-awareness in leadership and a DISC program that I'm launching. So one of the areas that I'm really well trained in, worked in for 15 to 20 years, is this assessment tool called DISC. And it basically helps you understand how people behave, how they interact with each other, how they connect, how they disconnect as well, how they can handle conflict, how they coach, how they guide, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it comes from this really important premise that the most important thing in a great leader is an understanding of their own space, their own disposition, their self-awareness. So this DISC workshop is designed to be a simple multi-video process where you can unpack DISC and you can look at it in terms of your own space. You'll do an assessment. So you'll know what your assessment is, and then you go through the videos and you can then book a 15 to 20 minute session with me at the end if you want to. But then also think about, okay, how does this apply to my team? And should we be doing this into your team? But this is where we're at today. I want you to think about coming and doing this DISC workshop with me. It's all online, so you can do it at your own pace, and then we can chat at the end. Hope you're enjoying the journey. I'm looking forward to seeing you on my DISC workshop.